So hello and welcome everyone to a pop-up stream. We decided to do this a couple of days ago, but we weren't sure how it was going to work out. So I apologize for my camera not working today. So with me, I have two of my beautiful daughters, Brianna and Lily.
Hello.
So they are also, actually my entire family, with the exception of my wife, are all big fans of Solo Leveling. So we wanted to come on and talk to you guys about it today. We're going to try and get better at doing live streams on Sunday like I used to, so that we can share the things that we're finding that we like. This week we're going to be discussing, as I said, Solo Leveling, and we're going to be really covering just the first season. Season 2 is coming out right now, as everybody who follows the show knows. We're following it as it comes out in dub or in English, because I know that there's going to be a lot of purists out there that are going to be like, "What? You don't do it in Japanese?" No, I don't. Because I hate reading and trying to watch the action on the screen at the same time. I end up feeling like I end up missing things. So welcome to everybody today. And so we're going to start off with how did each of us come across Solo Leveling?
Dad.
So, okay. All right. How did I come across Solo Leveling? Solo Leveling for me was just one that I saw it pop up on Crunchyroll, which I have a subscription to, and I just thought, it looked good. It looked like a good anime, and I wanted to see. Okay, so we have Spartan 072 in the chat. Hey, if you would like to join in, I can send you a link if you want to be part of the discussion today. Because Spartan 072, for you guys who don't know, that's actually my son. So he's he was over here earlier today, and then he went home because he doesn't like us that much. And anyway, so but yeah, I just came across it on Crunchyroll and thought I'd heard a couple of good things about it, and thought, oh, I'll give it a shot. And within the first episode, I was hooked. And I ended up, it's a good thing I didn't do it on a day when I had something else to do, because I literally sat there and just binge watched the whole first season. I'm just like, more. This is one of those animes that catches you and sucks you in fast. Like, if you're into action, adventure, good storytelling, you're going to get caught almost immediately.
I'd also say that if you're into like swords and like that kind of thing, I'm definitely into that, because that I just love the style, the art. It's amazing.
Yep. The animation is actually fantastic.
And the voice acting is great.
Yeah. You get a lot of the same great English voice actors doing this that are in so many animes. But I'm often amazed at how versatile they are. You can tell it's the same actor sometimes, but you know that they're doing something different. The guy that does the voice of All Might, he's in this. He's his character. He's the leader of the White Tiger Guild in this. His name is Yenho Bach. So, and we're going to slaughter these names, by the way. When you're hearing them on the show, you don't really think about it, and it sounds natural, and they do a very good job with it. But all of their names have kind of a similar sound to them in this anime. And so sometimes you get a little lost and stuff. And I have not watched this one enough times to where I'm like super familiar with all the names.
I will agree on that.
We're just gonna nurture them.
But it's like, for the most part, it's just like you don't even care. You're just in awe of watching this.
Yeah.
But the main character that we follow is Jinwoo Sung. I think is Sung. Yeah. And so he's the main character that you're following, and the character arc for him, the first time I watched it, I thought it was almost too quick. Like he almost transitions from being kind of a weak, low-level character to like going very fast to being kind of the other side. But once you really, I went back and watched it again this week, and I was like, no, I was wrong about that. He does transition in a very natural and good way.
And I'd say he like leveled up for a reason. I'd say the penalties definitely would motivate you.
Yeah. Running for 4 hours from giant centipedes that could slaughter you. I would definitely do the 100 squats, sit-ups.
The One Punch Man workout.
Yeah.
So why don't we go back and do a start where we tell everybody kind of the beginning of the story. For those of you who haven't seen this, why not? Is the first question. But for those of you who are just new to Solo Leveling and you're watching this thinking, oh, it might be a great anime, we'll try not to give any major spoilers away and stuff like that, but we do want to kind of share with you the start of the story so you kind of get an idea.
It's a small spoiler.
So would one of you guys like to start out with how he kind of comes into this?
God.
Okay. All right. We'll let Lily bring you in as we'll just kind of go over the first episode here and kind of show how he gets into this. Anytime. You're on.
He's just in a party with.
So let's talk about the world first.
Okay, yeah, you go.
So okay, all right. I'm sorry. All right, Dad's gonna take over. So basically, what happens is in the world there are what they call gates that have started appearing.
Magic portals.
They're just basically blue swirling portals. And they found that the monsters would come pouring out of them. Well, they found that conventional weapons and things do not work on these beasts. They didn't work at all. And so humans started developing gifts and abilities.
Having a reawakening.
And they would have what they called an awakening. So they would have an awakening, and then once they awoke, they would be at a certain power level, and they categorize them as S, A, B, C, D, and E. S being the highest level, which that seems to be a common theme in most animes, why S becomes the super, and I would assume it's because of that, S means super. But anyway, so, and whatever level you are when you awaken, that's what you stay. You can train your body. You can do certain things.
Skills.
It even talks about that in the anime where it says that the only two ways to raise your abilities is to train and hone your skills, or to incorporate other people into your party. To go take a group and to become better that way. Most hunters, that's all it is. But they also have something that happens rarely, which is called a reawakening, which that person can change their level somewhat, but it's extremely rare. Like it's so rare that they don't even really suspect it at first. So when we first find Genu, he is a level E, and he is called the worst or the weakest hunter in existence. So, I mean, all he does, he gets injured in an E level gate, which is almost impossible. And each gate has the same kind of they rate them on basically power structures, so they don't send weak people in to say like a class A gate, because they just get wiped out immediately. So that's how they kind of protect it. So why don't you guys carry on with Genu's story? Or how we meet Genu.
So we meet him in the first episode, gathering with 12 other people to enter a dungeon. What rank though?
I think it was a class D.
So
it's a fairly low rank.
Yeah, a D dungeon to go mine for mana crystals or collect essence stones. Essence stones are crystals the monsters drop, the loot they give, and essence stones are crystals that are mined in the cave that have magical properties, although they don't give anyone magical properties.
So mana crystals are what they mine. Essence stones are what come out of the creatures once they die.
And there was another kind of crystal.
So,
and they run for
they
run for pretty pricey in the real world, because that's like the big buck.
The mana crystal is how they make their weapons.
And
that's how you.
And they're researching the mana crystals to provide like energy
and health.
They and stuff. So, but the mana and the energy has also created a problem where it puts certain people into a coma, which is what has happened to Jinu's mom. So she is asleep. She's in eternal sleep, is what they call it. And so he has become a hunter essentially to try and provide for his mother's medical cares and his sister's schooling. So, I mean, he's risking his life. He's really bad at this whole thing, but it's the only thing he knows he can do where he can make quite a bit of money fairly quick and keep his family in some kind of financial stability.
But he always gets injured in every single raid, no matter what, all the time. But because of that, he's developed a very good sense of when danger is going to happen and when to strike or not. But he still sucks at it. And as he gets with this group, and a few people are talking about him, and one guy basically says, "Oh, he's the weakest hunter of all mankind. So with him here, it shouldn't be a very hard raid." And they get in, and it hasn't proved very money-some. I'm sorry.
It hasn't had very money some. I hope you guys all understood that. No, basically, yeah, it's not a lucrative cave, or a lucrative gate.
There hasn't been any mana crystals to mine, very few beasts, but they discover it's a double dungeon. Basically, just 2 dungeons in one. Yippee!
Which is very rare.
And is supposed to be delivered to the association.
Yeah, the hunters. So there's a hunters association, and then there's the hunter guilds, which are separate. The hunters association kind of oversees everything, and then the guilds are kind of out branchings of the hunters association. They kind of work in coordination together. It's basically like the hunters association is the government side of things. They were supposed to report a double dungeon to the hunters association,
but they thought it wouldn't be harmed because they're in a low rank gate.
Yeah.
So basically, they continue, or they take a vote, and then they continue into the double dungeon.
7 of them vote to go, 6 don't. Sorry.
Yeah.
Jinu being the tie-breaking vote. So.
Yeah. So they go into this dungeon, and there's a massive gate or whatever, and it's a door. Sorry, my bad. Forget what those are called. But there's this door that's, you don't see them in low rank dungeons. So they go in and,
first warning.
It's filled with a bunch of giant statues, and some are holding a bunch of instruments and weapons, and one's holding a scroll thing, one's sitting in a chair. It's all just kind of big and crazy.
The biggest statue is one that sits in a chair.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, all the classic shows, they go in and the door slams shut behind them. But yeah, I guess not immediately, but they go in and they start just exploring around this crazy thing, trying to find the boss, because that's how the dungeons close and everything, is they defeat the boss, and it has an hour until the gate officially closes. So yeah. Go ahead.
Gates are also open for over a week and before they break. And that's why the Hunters Association goes in and deals with them, is so they don't have a dungeon break, which is when the creatures in the gates come into the real world and start causing havoc.
Yeah.
Hazard. They cause some serious hazard.
Yep.
Havoc. Sorry, my language is not languaging.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow, we're just really jumping at the gun trying to answer all this.
It's such a good anime.
It really is. You really jump at all these opportunities, because the storyline's kind of chaotic. If you just jump in, you really are like, what's happening? What's going on?
That's what happened to me. They started without me and I just got sucked in.
Anyway, go for it.
But they go over to this statue, which is a scroll, and it has 4 commandments on it. To bow to God. I'm summarizing them. I don't remember them exactly, but it's basically bow to God, praise God, and prove thy faith to God. If these I can't think of it. if these commandments are not taken, those who have not completed these requirements will not leave the dungeon alive. And after they've read it, the door shuts.
Yes, I guess I missed this.
Yeah.
Anyway, once that happens, they all start freaking out and like,
Getting a little scared because
Yeah.
the door shut.
the classic horror move.
Yeah.
And then I forgot her name, but she's a person in their little group, and she watches the statue sitting in the chair, and she's like, I think he's watching us.
She's like, I saw his eyes move.
Same difference.
She's terrified. She's a level B
Healer.
but she's a scaredy cat, so she doesn't go in the really higher end dungeons because of that.
Kamikaze says Kanpai? Kanpai.
I think it's one of the characters.
Oh, okay. Maybe he's trying to fill us in here. So if you can't see, I'm sharing my screen because our camera's not working today. I was trying to get it working, and I don't know what's up. There's some kind of a problem between the camera and the Google program. But this there's some pictures here, and I can't make this bigger for some reason. This is kind of a similar mock-up to the dungeon and what it looks like. It's kind of a big circular room with the bad guy or the big guy sitting in the center. This is another.
Yeah.
Or not the center, yeah, but kind of at the end.
Right.
So where were you going?
Oh wait, hold on. He said, "Sorry, no minions speak."
No minions speak. Oh, were we going too fast?
Oh, sorry, that's me.
Yeah. Sorry. Lily's getting excited and shooting past her words. So anyway, they're in this dungeon and go ahead. So right after that, Jinu-san turns around and the eyes start to glow on the big statue, and he tells them, get down. And some of them get down and some of them don't, and they get cut in half by basically a huge fire beam.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Instantly
Killed by a laser beam of death from his eyeballs.
Also, may I just put this in? The deaths in this show are brutal. Oh my gosh.
You saw this person's rib cage just dissolve from itself. It was crazy.
It is kind of like weird.
Well, it's right up there with what's the other really Attack on Titan.
Or One Punch Man.
Rebecca Power. Okay.
That happens constantly for me.
But no, it's but yeah.
I mean, some of the deaths are just you get so caught off guard and your jaw just drops. You're like, oh my gosh, what?
And the first guy who dies, he actually went to go open the door, but one of the statues close to it just spliced him.
Yeah, he's like, I'm out of here,
and bleep, he dies.
Yeah.
So basically, this picture right here is what representative of what happens with him and his eyeballs. So they're all on the ground, and then they notice they're all kind of kneeling down, and they all kind of realize that he's not attacking anymore.
And they think it's because they're still.
And so yeah, they're trying to figure out why he's not attacking anymore. And the leader of the party that is the kind of went in, he's lost his arm. Like in the first assault, he loses his arm, and Jinu notices, and he's like, "Yeah, it doesn't hurt too bad." I mean, you can tell this guy's really tough and stuff, and he's kind of a cool guy. Some of the other people in this party that are there are just the worst. So we'll kind of bring up this is them. This is their party. Or most of the people that are in the party. This guy is a tool bag. This guy I feel bad for. He's just had a baby and he's here to try and make money. He has a baby on the way. Yeah, well, he has one and one on the way.
You get a little picture of it.
Yeah, and stuff. And this is kind of the girl that's sweet on Jinu because she's always taking care of him and helping. She's the one that notices the eyes move at first. Anyway, so I mean, so they start thinking and they're like, "Hey, what's going on?" And then they realize that the commandments that are on the wall are the clues to getting through the dungeon unharmed. And so they've got to figure out what the clues mean. And Jinu's like, "I think we need to bow down and worship."
He's the one who starts figuring out that it's the commandments on the wall. And so he's like, okay, I'm going to test something out. He stands up a bit and sees the eyes close and immediately ducks back down. He's like, and the eyes stop glowing. He's like, oh, we need to be below a certain height. And then it's like, what's the first commandment? Okay, I think we all need to bow down and worship God.
Yep. So that's what happens, and so the face, which is in this really creepy smile,
Ugh.
like
It's
this is
really-
something that anime does really well. It looks like that, and you're just like, oh, hello, Joker, except evil, psycho,
It's like
beyond the pale
way
Joker,
more-
and stuff. His face goes kind of soft again, if I remember right.
Yeah,
And
it's
then-
like
It would
every
not-
time one dies, it like smiles or whatever, and then it's like, oh, it's just so edging because it's like, are you gonna make a mistake? And he'll just kind of like give that creepy smile and give off this horrible vibe.
Yeah.
This is the actual dungeon that
Yeah.
is in the show.
So what basically ends up happening is that they figure out to go through these commandments. And then so the next part starts, the creepy face disappears, but the statue stands up and starts chasing them
Walking
slowly and methodically in a horrific kind of zombie way, chasing them through the dungeon, trying to crush them. And you watch a couple of people totally get crushed
Oh
because
my
they're
gosh.
trying to interpret the second commandment and figure out what they're supposed to do.
Because it's like it's worded weird.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like
It's like you must praise God,
Yeah.
basically. And they figure out that the statue is supposed to be the representation of God. So they're trying to appease that thing.
that's
And
now chasing them.
And Ginu's like, God, he's more like the devil, you know? And so,
There's more things.
Yeah,
devil.
devil.
And heavenly.
yeah, so I mean, so they're running around, and Ginu starts looking at the statues, trying to figure, because one guy gets too close to one of the statues and gets sliced in half. He's the guy that has the baby on the way.
Yeah, the one we
He gets cut right in half. And then and he just starts looking at the statues, and he realizes that there's ones that have musical instruments or that have something musical about them. And he's like praising God. So he's like, he starts yelling at everybody, find one of the musical statues and stand in front of it. So him and this girl that's sweet on him, she's terrified. She has lost it at this point, and he's basically drags her across. They get in front of a statue, and they realize each one of them has to be in front of a statue. You can't double up. And so Ginu starts running, and he's the only one left without a statue. He gets injured. He gets his leg down, like basically cut off below the knee. Doesn't even realize it. He's so scared. He doesn't realize it till after he finds one of the statues, barely misses getting killed by a second. Then the statue goes and sits back down.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, great. Now we got to figure out the next one.
And so after that, the statue raises its hand, and an altar comes up out of the floor in the center. And I don't know if we have a picture of that, but
no, if it's more one of the gory side. Yeah, there's it is.
yeah.
I
So,
think-
So this is kind of the altar from an above view.
Don't mind him being on it.
Yeah, I don't mind the dead
Oh,
guy.
we'll get the balloon.
But anyway, so this is just this anime just goes. We don't want to sit here and do a breakdown of the entire episode, but that's basically what's happening.
That's like
The first one is very important because it shows you the character of Ginu. He is very concerned about other people. Being weak has made him understand, what it is to be weak, to not have the power that everybody else has. And his mistreatment over the years has made him just kind of accept the fact that that's the way life is. And yet when he first comes to this hunt, everybody's like, hey, Ginu, how are you going? And stuff like that, because he's humble enough in it that the people actually, I think, kind of come to respect him. They still talk smack about him, and you see that, but it's like you get a feel that they're like, man, this kid has got something to him because he keeps coming back despite the fact that he really shouldn't be.
They were saying like he may be the weakest, but he's the bravest because of like how weak and how much he still comes back, even though he like
Suffers
practically
every
almost
single time.
dies every mission.
Yeah. He gets injured every single time. But anyway, and it goes on from here, and basically each episode just builds on this, where he is basically killed at the end of this episode, but not killed. You don't know what happens. Like, you see the sword, he's the only one left. Basically, there's these flames that come up in the middle of the floor. for each individual that's still in the room. The
Interesting.
one douchebag guy, he's like, you should go in and kill yourself, to the leader guy that's kind of a nice guy. You should sacrifice yourself because this is all your fault, despite the fact that he was one of the guys that voted to stay in and go into the second dungeon. Anyway, so they end up sending him into the center, and a fire lights up around the altar. And so as they each go in, another fire lights up. And as they do this, a bunch of blue flames light up around the red ones. And I don't know if we've got pictures of that, but the doors open at that point. And there's like two of the people, like they freak out and they're just like, I can't do it. And they run and they get out. But as they do, the statues start moving and coming towards them in the center, unless they keep their eyes on the statues. If they can keep enough people in and keep their eyes on the statues, they stop.
So funny thing, it's like
it's like the angels from the Doctor
taking my analogy.
Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah.
Doctor
Strange.
Okay.
Doctor Strange.
Oh my gosh,
What?
I can't think. It's Doctor Who. Yeah, with the blue box. Or if you are familiar with the game Museum or Night of the Museum, me and my family has played that when we were younger.
So, but people keep freaking out, and they're like, and as they're watching the statues, the blue fires are slowly going out. So they're like, it's a timer. We just have to stay here till the blue flames go out, and then we can get out. And people are like, but what if they come and kill us once the blue flames are out? And so they all start abandoning the different people. Then they run out, and a few of them get out. They escape. Basically until there's 3 of them left, and there's not enough of them to watch all the statues to stop them from moving. And so Genu realizes like he can't run and he can't carry the girl out that's got the problem. And so
it's like so scared she can't move.
Yeah, she can't move. And she tried to heal him. As you can see in this picture here, he's really injured. He's lost his leg. He's lost part of his arm.
That's after Dad.
But still, he's still like really injured.
Yeah, but yeah, so this is after some of the other stuff. But I mean, this is what ends. And so he's just like, I will stay here. You guys get out. And stuff, because he knows there's not enough of them to stop the statues anymore. And so he's like, you guys can get out. I'll stay here in the center, keep one fire lit, and that way you can get away. They run out. The girl doesn't want to leave him. And she's like, no, I'm going to stay with you. And the other guy like whacks her in the neck, knocks her out, and takes her out. And saves her. Yeah. And she's like, sorry, I had to do that. But, and then the statues attack Geno. He ends up on top of the altar. And just as the one statue's about to strike him with the sword, everything kind of goes black, and there's some weird different things that happen.
Some things pop up,
and
it's like super fast, but also like you get glimpses of it.
I read
so it's like fast and then gone, and you go, wait.
What just happened?
Yeah,
don't worry, I went back and read it. I can explain.
And the next thing you know, you see Geno in the hospital, he wakes up. His arm's healed, his legs healed. And it's been 3 days that he's been asleep. So everybody who did die. Those who ran out before him did escape the lab, or did escape the dungeon, the double dungeon. And then they leave, but they can never find any evidence of this dungeon, this extremely unusual dungeon. There's no trace of it after. They find them, but they don't find the dungeon that actually caused the problem. So anyway, and then that goes into the next episode, and Genu starts having like what you would say pop-up screens from like a video game popping up and giving him instructions, telling him different things to do. But he's the only one this is happening to. Like, so it's like he's suddenly in a game, but the rest of the world around him is not. So, but yeah, and so he has what they call a reawakening, which we already kind of talked about that in the beginning.
But it's different from a normal one, because even though someone has a reawakening, they will still be stuck at the level they are now reassigned to. Like an E goes to an A, he's now only an A, cannot go up to a B or down to a B or up to a S rank. They're stuck at an A now. But for him, he's still an E rank, but he can get stronger.
Yep. And he starts to level up, which is basically where we get the title from, Solo Leveling. He's the only one that can do this. And he ends up finding dungeons that only he can go into. And then he has to, and so we were talking about this earlier. So he has daily quests, whether it's like whatever. At first, it's like exercise regimens that he has to perform every day. And so, and the first time he's in the hospital, the screen pops up, says you did not complete your quest, because he doesn't, I mean, he's still trying to figure out what's happening to him, because it's not normal. Nobody else has gone through this. And and so he ends up, now you broke my tongue.
Sorry.
So he's the screen comes up, it's like, you must now be assessed a penalty. And all of a sudden he gets transported into the middle of this desert with this huge centipede, and basically has to run screaming for his life for 4 hours. So
and there's multiple of them.
No, in the first penalty, there's only the one.
Are you sure? Because I remember him saying, "How many of them are there?" as he's running. He looks exhausted.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you had to run for 4 hours, that's pretty impressive.
It is impressive.
It's kind of funny because this, like, he is the only one that this happens to, and like, so the real world still continues while he's in his penalty or whatever. So there are nurses that are looking for him while he's running from this, and it's kind of funny because they're like, he couldn't have gone far, and then it skips to him just running for his life.
Yeah, from like these are like the centipedes that are chasing him in this devil. Or in the desert devil.
Well, they technically are.
Yeah. So I mean, it's intense, and that's what I mean. This show just goes from intensity to intensity to intense, and it just gets more interesting because you're learning. You're on the same path as Gino. You're going through this story with him. That's what I like about it. Is you feel like you're on the journey with him.
You're learning with him about this new encounters, like It's really cool. Also, he has a major glow up, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Like my daughters were sitting there after about the second episode. He's in there and he's exercising, and all of a sudden he's got a 6-pack, and he's getting taller, and like because when you first see him, this is him, this little shrimpy kind of guy, weaky kind of guy, and then he is not that for. He starts.
It's kind of funny because everyone else also reacts to the glow up or whatever.
Like, this is what he turns into. I'm like, how can you not have googly eyes over this guy?
Oh
and so, as the nurses in the show are all like, "Oh my goodness, I have the vapors," they're all trying to be like, "Oh, he's so hot." My daughters are over on the couch going, "He's so cute."
I will proudly admit to this. Brianna will not, though. But
I just think it's funny.
They're all just like, when did we get this hottie in the hospital? I don't remember him coming in.
And the nurses are trying to get his phone number, and he mistakes it as like, oh, they probably want to give me some tests or something like that. And so it's this awkward thing, and it's kind of fun because the Japanese do that really well in their anime. That awkward guy who's not used to getting girls all of a sudden being hit on, and he's clueless about what's happening. So it is kind of a fun moment, but
I know we spent a lot of this time just talking about the first 2 episodes, but those are crazy.
Yeah.
They are the most
sound-packed.
I don't know. It just, like I said, I think it just gets more intense.
Well, like
the longer you watch this show, you're like, how high can they take the tension level and the craziness? But they do a really good job of kind of keeping it in a real level where you don't feel like he just goes from nothing to be an OP or whatever. Like, he really has to struggle as he's going through this, and he's learning so much so fast, and and everything that's going on around him, it's kind of, he's in the middle of this storm, and the rest of the world's just kind of swirling around on the outside. And so things are happening, and people are starting to notice things that are happening to him, but nobody can really understand it because they haven't gone through what he's gone through.
And in every episode, like with every fight, new challenge he comes across and is like, this is so intense, I don't know how I'll survive. If he ever thinks that, he usually goes back to the first episode and like a picture of God smiling. He's like, no, this is nothing compared to that. And it always drives him to do like go on more because he's like, I've seen HE double hockey sticks and I've come back from there. So like, this is nothing. I mean, my arm's cut off, but I'll go. I'll get through it. Oh wait, that's a spoiler.
So yeah, so, no, it's but like I say, this is a fantastic anime, and it came from a Korean. Now they don't call it a manga; they call it something different. But this is actually not based off of a Japanese manga. It's let me look it up here real quick.
While my dad's looking up that, can we just talk about the music in this anime?
Delicious.
I can go on a huge rant about like how nice it is. It's just
very contemporary, very.
Yeah, I also like how they reuse some of the music. Obviously, I haven't got far enough to know all of it, but I have gotten far to like hear some of it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I could literally listen to this just on a regular basis.
This is going on a new playlist.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if I can talk about him. He's pretty last episode.
Yeah, she's on. We're hyping on season 2. We're waiting for more episodes to come out.
But I'm on the last not really. I'm last episode of season 1. You meet Icarus, the Blood Red, and he stole the show for me.
Oh, I'm learning a lot about my daughters watching this show with
Dodge
them.
her.
But
Don't
Dad-
single me in with her.
And you gotta like him too.
No, but like
Can I say?
the fight between him and Igris is
Insane.
yeah, it is crazy cool. And that's the final episode. Won't tell you what happens and stuff for the season. But it is just and we're the second season is in the middle of coming out right now, so we're watching that. So we'll be doing a show on that here in a few weeks. The next anime I want to talk about with you guys is Kaiju number 8.
Oh
my gosh, you
Um,
need to watch that too.
So that will be one of the next animes that we cover, and hopefully I'll have my camera fixed by then, and I'll have more stuff set up. This we kind of had to throw this stream together, so I apologize that this is not very spit and polished like I try and do these. But yeah, no, it was it really is a great show. If you like action, it is quite gory. I will tell you that there is quite a bit of gore to it. So just be prepared for that. That there will be a lot of that, and if you want to shut your eyes and pretend it's not happening, you can do that. But but no, it really is a good story about somebody who comes from nothing, having nothing, so many things against him, and then really starts to turn around and become just this amazing person who so far I haven't seen where it feels like he hasn't forgotten where he's come from, but he is kind of jaded in a way too. I don't know if you guys have noticed him being kind of jaded about stuff where I mean he's been trodden on by the other hunters so long, like he keeps this a secret, what's happening to him, as long as he can, because he realizes like there's people that would misuse him, that would, or that, would, so that, I mean, he's kind of worried about that because like,
it's also just not normal for him to level up with each
Fight
he kills. Yeah.
There would be jealousy and stuff because everybody else is stuck where they are and he's not. I mean, so he ends up, and everybody keeps saying that as he's going through, is like, how can this guy be an E? Because he hasn't gone and gotten retested yet. So he still shows up as an E level hunter. But it's like so he goes on these missions and stuff. And there's these people that like, it's amazing how the mistreatment inside the gates works. Like he goes on one and he's chaperoning a girl and basically, it's second season. That's second season. Okay, I'm sorry.
Dad, do
I'm getting
the
ahead of myself.
member party for the C rank, like the second thing, second question.
Oh yeah.
Do
Okay.
that one if you're gonna go into a
If you're gonna
detail.
give spoilers, give it in the right season.
Yeah.
Okay, so I apologize. So but there is like a thing where he gets taken on a raid with another guy who's what is his buddies?
Oh crap!
Gina Yu or something like that.
Gene, yeah, Gene Yu, maybe.
And
Hang on.
He has the Deku's voice actor having his voice.
Oh my gosh, I can't.
He's really sweet. I like.
Yeah,
that
he's
guy.
a really cool kid.
anyway,
He's so funny.
he's a newly awakened
D.
D rank
Yeah.
fighter, and he goes on this mission with a bunch of other people because you have to have a certain amount of people to go in a dungeon.
A C rank dungeon specifically.
Not dungeon,
Okay.
gate.
Sorry, my
A
bad.
gate.
Well,
Well, they call it
I guess it
dungeon.
is a dungeon, but it's like
They say it's a gate, but when they're inside, they call it a dungeon.
yeah,
because
it's kind of interchangeable.
Yeah. But there's this 6-member strike team that they're going with, and these two are just going along with them as
Helpers.
and basically they're just going to help mine ores that they find, monocrystals, that stuff. But you find out in the gate that the 6 members are actually real douches.
They basically they bring people who are not high level so that they can exploit them as cannon fodder. Basically, they leave people to get killed all the time. So while they go in and steal crystals and steal all the essence
So they can take
stones,
their
and
loot.
So they can go into
Yeah.
a the highest ranked dungeon they can, and get more than they could. Once the other two have died, they take their share, so they get more money out of it.
Mhm.
So that's what they do. They just bring in some to be killed and then take their share to make them more money. And the dungeon they went in had a huge hall of mana crystals covering every wall. It was big.
Mhm.
and so basically they leave them with the boss to get killed so that the boss will be satiated. They can come back, get the crystals, and then leave and claim that because basically it's kind of like Vegas. What happens in a gate stays in a gate because only the people in the gate know what happened.
Because there's no
And
surveillance.
yeah, so there's no surveillance, there's no way of proving it, so they just have to take their word on what's happening inside the gates. So there's been some really horrible things that have been done in the gates and stuff like that. But what happens at the end, I'm not going to spoil that episode for you, but what
Oh.
happens in that episode is fantastic.
Yeah.
The music.
It's-
mm.
And it's just the karma. Karma
Yeah.
comes
Oh,
around
yeah.
and it's just like you're just like, oh man, you deserve that.
Yeah.
What happened, and stuff. And it
just
kind of
didn't-
forces Genu into
A position he
a
doesn't
position,
want.
yeah, that he's not really comfortable with, but it's like it's life or death. And so he has to make a choice to what do I do here? And then that's what I love. There's a lot of moral questions that go on in this. What do you choose? Like when you're put in these situations, how do you handle it? What do you do? And it is really, really great.
Mhm.
So the storytelling, it's the animation is fantastic,
Mhm.
but the story and the storytelling is just superb. It is
It
just
really is.
really good.
Yeah.
Like I say, and the voice acting it's really good and really fun.
Like the cries of pain in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, so sometimes there's a little bit of overacting, I think, with the English actors that do the voiceovers for some of this, my wife particularly gets irritated that she says, "'Cause I hate the high-pitched squealy voices." And
I'll agree. I despise most of them as well,
Yeah.
but I guess it depends on the character.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
context.
Because if they're always whining in that high pitch, I'm like, please.
Yeah. Please stop it.
Please find some duct tape and cover your mouth with it.
So, but there's really none of that in this, and there are some cool female hunters that appear in the first season. You just get kind of a split-second shot of her. She saves a woman's purse, knocks out these 2 scumbags on a scooter. It's one of those anime tropes that I really love. That the snatch and grab scooter people, they're always getting their butts kicked. That it's classic. It's
You
really
see a
good.
glimpse of her like killing this monster, and it's literally a second shot, but you
Yeah.
go, "Whoa! I want to know more about
'Cause
this character."
It
Yeah.
is huge.
What happened to her?
The monster she just swipes in a second. Whoa.
Yeah, so it's fun, and that's what I like is when the character building is story driven. It is, and I've been making videos about this a lot lately because of the stuff with Harry Potter and some of the what they're doing with some of the other IPs out there and stuff like that. They think they've got to overpower. We got to make black people more powerful. We got to make women more powerful. It's just like, just be real. Just like if that actually feeds the story, cool.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, don't do that. Don't do that just to score some political point somewhere. It's like, because then you've just like, as soon as that happens, I'm kind of out. Like the magic of that story is broken for me, because I'm like, that's not even no.
No, I agree. If they all of a sudden just are like, if they're all of a sudden just powerful because they want that person to be powerful, there's no real reason, and it's like they shouldn't be. What's the point?
Yeah, which is also another reason why I like Genu, because he doesn't just immediately get the power. He's still an E rank when he reawakens.
Oh, and he
has
gets his butt
gain.
kicked.
Oh yeah. But like
He's got to work for every bit of this.
every bit of leveling up he has to work for, and he gets his power by hard work and like almost dying still.
So I think that's where we'll leave it there this week. Thank you guys for being here. I apologize for the late notice of the live stream. Like I said, we will get my camera fixed. And the funny thing is, it's a new camera. I just got it, and it's worked fine till now. So, and it's just been me. And now I bring my daughters here, and they're cute. And like,
whoa.
Oh, sir,
they're
don't be putting
way
not
better to
on
look
the
at than me. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, hey, try and date my daughters, because no, you're not allowed.
Dad,
But
good for one. Second, I don't want to be on online shopping.
Whatever.
Not one of those.
okay, well, I wasn't really thinking of it like that, but
Yeah.
okay. But anyway, so I think next week we're gonna do Kaiju number 8 as our topic, and then we'll just kind of pick it up from there. We won't always do an anime every week. We may do just like a movie or a TV show, but most of the time it will be anime that we're talking about, because there is so much good anime out there right now.
It just really depends on what's good.
Yeah.
If something worth watching, yeah.
Yep. Then we'll bring that to the show and we'll talk about it. So anyway, thank you guys for being here. Thank you to my beautiful girls for showing up today.
Of course.
And boys.
Let's see. We'll leave you guys here with this little outro. I think, if I can find it. Nope, it's gone. Anyway, thanks for being here, guys. We'll talk to you next time. Bye now.